Peace.
Peace.
What's good, soldier?
Man, maintaining, man. Up in here, man, fixing my son something to eat, man.
Okay.
You know, just living like a free man, my brother.
What I'm trying to do during this quarantine is try to put out a couple of videos using people who aren't celebrities and shit like that, common everyday people. Me and you have a mutual acquaintance. He put me down with you. He told me that you've been through some things in the federal system. I just like to get, a first-hand account of your experience during time in some of the USPs in the United States.
Oh well, I got introduced to the federal system in 1994. I was like 19 years old.
Okay.
From doing things, I got caught up in that war on drugs and things of that nature. Is there anything else you might want me to elaborate? You want me to elaborate maybe on some of my experiences and things of that nature?
Go from the tell them what car you from, tell them what the region you from, tell them what car you represented, and some of you can go to your first day in a federal USP.
You said something about my first day. Say that one time.
Yeah, you can. I would like you to share what car you from. I'm using federal terminology. I'm trying to want them to get an idea.
Yeah. What car I'm from? Man, I'm from that. I'm originally from South Carolina, man, but I was raised in North Carolina, and in the system, North and the South Side, we all rock together, man. I was raised in a city they call Winston-Salem, North Carolina, from Dillon. And in the system again, that's the car I rock with, and you was asking me something else.
Give me your name. What would they know you by in the federal system?
By Krank Diesel, man. Krank Diesel. Krank Diesel. Krank, man, was the name that I got from the homies in the hood. Back when we was younger, growing up, and went to Salem, North Carolina, and Diesel came later on, man, when I went to penitentiary, Usp Atlanta, at the age of 19, man. I got the name. It started out because I was just such a big fan of Shaquille O'Neal, and when I started playing ball and working out, I was so strong, man. I think God give all of us, gifts. And one of my biggest gifts I had was the fact that I was just brutally strong and, and athletic. And so that name carried a long time. It stayed with me all the time. I came home, man. Like I said, I left in 94 for trafficking narcotics from New York City to North Carolina.
Right.
I came home in 2009, man.
Can you recall your first day in a USP and break down the difference between a USP and a camp?
Oh yeah, my first day at a USP, man, I'll never forget it. It was a day that I'll never forget, because I remember riding to Atlanta on a bus. But okay, I guess first, I remember riding to Atlanta on the bus, and I didn't know, as a young guy, coming from a little small southern town in the southeast region part of the United States, I didn't know about real life like cartels or mafia type dudes, and it was an Asian dude. It was an Asian dude that was on that bus with us. Come to find out later on that the Asian dude snitched on another high-profile Asian gang leader. I don't know if it was a Mexican gang leader or Asian gang leader. It was something to that effect. But I'll never forget our first day, man. We was, not knowing nobody, and at that time we was in the cafeteria about ready to eat. And this guy, man, he said maybe 2, 3, 4 people might have been between me and him, and out of nowhere, man, he was assassinated, man. A dude came and stabbed him in the top of his head, killed him. Killed him. Don't nobody stand around and look, and USPs, everybody just continue to move like nothing happened. And to hit on that point about what's the difference between a USP and a camp, or the state, or things like that, because I did a little youth state time back in like 1990, I want to say 91. And, I met the guys that killed Michael Jordan's father. It was all around about the same age, but let's get back to the camp. The camp, the high, which is like Usp Atlanta, some of the original prisons in the feds was like Usp Atlanta, Leavenworth, Terre Haute, Long Park, Lewisburg, things of that nature. But a camp is where when you first come in, if you really don't have too much of a criminal history, and if you a white collar dude, or if you somebody that cooperated with the government, them is the type of spots that you normally go to, So that's the campus, like I said, where you don't really have points.
Okay.
And the camp is also where you can, they furlough you, things of that nature. The USP, again, I start off in USP Atlanta, so that's really the difference, though. That's the difference.
So you said you was booked in the state with the kids to kill Michael Jordan, Dad?
Yeah. I was in Morganton High Rise. It's located in Morganton, North Carolina. I was there with me and my brother, man. We had a simple assault on a police officer. R.I.P. Taylor, my brother, man, got murdered almost 2 years ago by a young dummy. But anyway, that's something different. I was in there on a misdemeanor 1 year sentence, did 7 days. I think I was like 15 or 16, something.
Was them dudes popular? Was them guys like popular? Like everybody like that?
No, they weren't popular at all, man. People, I never seen nobody threaten them. Things of that nature. I'm quite sure somebody have. But they was just regular dudes, man. They was just more or less like, I was a young guy, my first time ever being in trouble, like real trouble. And I seen them, and that was that. It wasn't that, but we was talking or whatever. So, but
right.
Yeah, they weren't. But from my knowledge, I wasn't there long. But from the little time I was there, they weren't popular at all.
Right.
Okay.
So you seen your first day in the USP? You seen somebody get murdered?
Yeah, my first day, man. My first day in USP, man. I seen somebody get murdered, man.
How the fuck did that rub you? How the fuck did that rub you? Especially, let's say you might have been somebody who never encountered a homicide. I never seen nobody get killed physically. I was there immediately after one happened though, so I seen a man down. I didn't see it actually happen, but how does that rub you when you actually see that happen right in front of you on your first day in the federal system?
You know what, Gully, man. You know what, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. And if we continue to elaborate and we get into my past, what you gonna come to realize about me, just like a lot of other brothers, I'm not the only one, because I met a lot of them on a yard, that and you asked me what I felt, man. I felt nothing, man. I come up in the era, man, where we sold crack. We did things. That's just the era, man. That's just the reality. I did time for it, so I'm not incriminating myself. We both know that, but yeah, I came up in the era where we just did so many savage things, man. And even Gully, when I got there, man, it hurt me. But it didn't bother me, man, because I didn't understand it then, and I don't want to sound ignorant, but I was almost like built for it, man. It was like, I'm
spit it out.
I don't know, man. You start losing your feeling, man, when you start, and then I seen it on the street before I even went in. And then, even while I was in Usp Atlanta, I lost my girlfriend to a car crash on her birthday. You know what I mean?
Right.
I still got them articles to this day. Big up Lucy. I'm quite sure the people that listen to this, and it is Bernice Givens. Girl, I love you. R.P. Lucy, man, and the Givens. They located right there in Winston, North Carolina, Gastonia, North Carolina, and so
Okay.
you know that was my baby. So yeah.
All right. So okay, I get it. You've been through it, so you were seasoned by the time you got to the federal system.
I was seasoned, man. I was seasoned, my brother. I was seasoned. I didn't know it. I was seasoned, and what she was dealing with, and I'm a tough guy, Gully, and I don't bother people because if you want to get all the way down to the bone of it, I was a hustler, man, and like my new hustle now is I work, and I was a hustler. I was built for it. I'm just again I'm 6'1.5", man. I'm 288. I ain't never been really scared of nothing, and so I hate to say it like that. It was nothing. It was just locked down 2-3 days, and then we was back out, and maybe, I don't know, maybe 2 months later, an inmate killed Officer Washington. I won't say this was 94, 95. It wasn't, I don't know if I got the dates. This is things you can Google and look at when Officer Washington got murdered by an inmate with a hammer. And, other inmates was running around screaming hammer time.
A hammer? What? He got it out the shop?
No, see, one thing about, and see, it's different now in USPs, but when I first hit the USPs, it was the last of the USPs, meaning the rules, the regulations. I remember an old white man telling me one time, he was in C House, that's Atlanta. Like you got A House, B House, C House. And C House is look like a real live, like Attica, like I'm sorry, it go in the air, and it's little skinny little walkways, and that was the only part of Atlanta that was built like that. But I remember a white man telling me that we messed this up, but what we didn't know at that time was it was a war on the black man and the black woman, dealing with them crack ratios, that 50 grams, that you know what I mean,
So when he said y'all messed it up, what did he mean? What did he mean by that?
Because it was so many of us. He said we messed it up. And again, I guess what I'm saying is I came upon that old Atlanta, and I want to get back before I lose my thought on. You said how you get a hammer. Okay. Well, when you work in facility, what facility, if you know what facility mean, you fix things, right? Yeah. Yeah, so it was a guy named Glover. He was out of Palm Beach, Florida. Glover was about 6'6". He used to play balls, right? I done played against him a couple times. And Glover was one of the guys that worked in facility. And again, back in Atlanta back then, they didn't have metal detectors. They had some, but not all the ones they got after this incident happened. Okay. And them guys, even though you incarcerated, man, you still living you on the street, work. You got jobs. And Glove, make a long story short, them guys in the facility, they have hammers, they have screwdrivers, on their waist, on their belt. And they didn't have no problem with letting you hold it if you wanted to hold it. And it was an inmate that asked them could he hold it, and he let him hold it, and he killed Officer Washington, man. And after that, man, things changed, man. At this time, this one, Micheal, I introduced Micheal to my mother, man. Micheal was a close friend of mine. He's a Sunni Muslim, Pop father. Willie Falcon, he came on the town later. Bucky Brown, Bo Diddley, L.A. Mike, we talking about millionaires, Detroit Rick. I mean, there was a lot of cats that was coming through. Atlanta was a spot that I had a celly one time named, what was his name? I can't recall his name, man, but I remember he was from California. He was from L.A., and he liked shooting dope. And when he got there, he was like, man, I've been trying to get to this motherfucker for 10 years. I said, 10 years? I've been in probably maybe a year or so at that point, maybe 2. I said, why? He said, boy, in Atlanta, y'all got all the motherfuckers drugs. He said, you know what I mean? You know, so Atlanta was a spot that people wanted to come to. I mean, you talking about some of the most beautiful black officer CO women you want to see in your life. And we believe in the South, for example, that Georgia got some of the most beautiful black women in the world, even though we know there's beautiful black women everywhere. And them sisters there, man, you talking about 98% of the population, officers black. You talking about them cooking neck bones and things of that nature in that kind of prison. But again, all that ceased later on after Officer Washington got murdered, and they brought in a new warden. I mean, I remember, I want to say it was 95 when they turned down the crack bill, and, you know, they set it on fire. And I don't know if you know, prior to me coming to Atlanta, I want to say it was like 93, 92, the Cubans took Atlanta over then. So
what, the jail?
They burnt it down. The prison, the USP. This is all you can just, when you get the opportunity, just go and look at it.
Oh, you talking about that uprising? That uprising.
The uprising. See what happened again too when we was there.
Okay, I didn't know that there was a second one. All right.
Yeah. I want to say, I didn't meet him personally. I want to say Wayne Perry and a couple more of them dudes skipped in Atlanta and skipped out. I could be mistaken. But, you know, I mean, you know, but anything else you want me to elaborate on as far as?
Okay. So, you was in USP, and USP Atlanta was a place where a lot of the rich drug lords from the South was in population.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Without a shadow of a doubt.
When somebody like Big Ike or Bunky Brown or one of these dudes come through, how are they received, and how does the general population move?
Well, to be honest, Bunky was respected. He was respected. Bunky was a basketball coach. Like, Bunky thing was, I remember Bunky telling me one time, because I think I had that conversation with you. Well, Bunky was saying, man, how if he could, he'd put Carolina boys on his whole team, because he felt like the best basketball player since he been there was coming up from Carolina. But he was respected, man. Bunky was a decent dude, and he was respected. I mean,
once you said he was a coach, once you say he was a basketball coach, I knew he had some money and influence for sure. I played on them teams. I played on them teams.
Yeah. Bunky, Brown, Bo Diddley, you know, dudes like that. He had respect, but you know who had like probably the most respect out of anybody I ever seen my whole time in the system was Willie Falcon.
Willie Falcon?
Yeah, Willie Falcon, yeah.
And you was at USP Atlanta with him?
Yeah, man, he was right next to, he was the cell next over from me, man.
What nationality is he? He's Cuban, right?
Yes, if I ain't mistaken. I think he's Cuban, yeah.
Okay, so what would make you say that he was the most powerful convict that you did time with?
Well, you know, the rest of them guys, they was quote unquote, like, you know, kingpins in the area. But you know, Willie was like, you know, in that mix of like that cartel mix. Not maybe that, but in that mix. And he was a whole different animal, man. I'll never forget, man, like when Willie first got to Atlanta, man, it was a guy, man, struggling and he couldn't get visits. And if Willie liked you, man, Willie buy your family a vehicle and get your family up there, man, that weekend, man. I'll never forget, man, one time. Because, you know, when you come out your cell, you know, you walk forward, you don't never look in nobody's room. That's just a no-no.
Yeah.
You know, you don't do that. Like, because the dude, he'll invite you to, you know, whatever. I mean, what you looking for? You must want something, you understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll never forget one day, I don't know what I was thinking. I was a young guy. I walked by Willie room, and I looked. I didn't stop and look, but I kind of like glanced. And I noticed that on Willie's bed, and you know, Willie, man, you know, stamps and cigarettes and things of that nature. That's the thing, that's the currency. But I don't know, it might have been 1,000 books of stamps just scattered all over his bed. And Willie selling, he was I don't know what he was. I don't know if he was. I don't want to say he was Cuban. He went white. He was something. He was something. I don't know. I can't remember for that. But I remember seeing Willie, because you know, you can't have that many books of stamps.